Hi, this is Paul Mackinac with redhot.io. Today I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of our Enterprise Cloudware system, which allows you to deploy, manage, and run your enterprise apps in any cloud from anywhere. It gives you unprecedented flexibility and control over your enterprise applications. As part of this demonstration, what I'd like to do is show you how you can use the system to deploy a new application. We're then going to scale that application so it's running in multiple data centers on multiple clouds across 2 different continents. We're then going to modify that system while it's up and running, and we're going to create a hot backup of it. After the hot backup is complete, we're going to take that backup and deploy it on top of all the running instances in the different clouds and update our system. We'll then take that backup, and from there we'll create a gold image out of it, which will be stored in a private corner of our secure repository. Then I'd like to show you how we can create a new deployment zone. And a deployment zone defines what are the valid targets or data centers for a deployment. So we'll create a new deployment zone, and then we're going to take that gold image we've created and deploy it into the new zone. And this will only take a few minutes. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to log on. And since I'm logged on as a customer that has nothing deployed, the first thing it's going to ask me to do is deploy something. We have all kinds of images in our library, and of course you can add your own images as we go. We have all kinds of different Linux distributions and different DevOps tools, different web servers, and some miscellaneous things. We have different databases, as well as the different ERPs for one-click deployment of things like JD Edwards and EBS and PeopleSoft. For this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and deploy a Tomcat server, which is a J2EE web and app server. So we're going to call this demo. So this will become my fully qualified domain name that will be accessible from the internet. You have some options here. You don't have to do any of them, but you can choose which deployment zone you want. How many instances do you want to create? If you want to limit the CPU and the memory, you can. If you want to have persistent data that is shared across all the different services that you're running, you can go ahead and do that. When we update these multiple systems that are running, what type of parallelism do you want to have? Do you want to do them one at a time or all at once? And what type of delay do you want? And we're going to choose to do these one at a time with a delay of 5 seconds. Our systems do automatic nightly backups according to the SLAs. A user can create a backup at any time, and I'll show you how you do that. And then access control. Since this will be on the internet, I'm going to limit it to my IP address until I'm happy with it, when we'll change the ACLs in just a second. So let's go ahead and deploy this. So that is now deploying up in our AWS West zone. So if I click on this, I can get some more information about it. So this has been running now for 7 seconds. A couple interesting things here. Unlimited CPU, unlimited memory, unlimited disk. The restart policy, if for some reason this system went down or AWS went down in Europe, it would automatically pick it up and move it to a different data center. So let's go ahead and look at the web page that's up and running. So that is our default web page. Again, that is our fully qualified domain name that we talked about. So that is up and running. Let's go ahead and add some more instances and scale this across different data centers. I'm going to click this Add Instance button twice. And just that fast, from the AWS Europe, I actually added another one into Azure Central, and I added another running instance in Red Hot Las Vegas. So all 3 of those are up and running. They're going to round robin, which is the default pattern. So let's go ahead and make a modification to that system. I'm going to click on Access here, and this is going to give me secure shell access directly from the browser. So let's make a modification to that web page. All right, so the new web page is going to say Red Hat gives you freedom to roam. And if we bring this back up, again, I mentioned there are 3 running instances, and we've modified 1. So every third one will give you the new modified web page. So I'm happy with that modification. So what I'd like to do now is create a backup of that system. So I can click on this backup to create a user-defined backup anytime I want. And I'm going to click on that. And literally just that fast, the backup has been created. We can click here to review the backups. And here's my demo system that is currently running. What I want to do now is I want to take this modified code base and I want to redeploy it on top of the other instances that are running. So let me go ahead and click on the replace button. Again, we defined our parallelism to be one at a time every 5 seconds. So in just 5 more seconds, this last one will be updated as well. And then one more, please. Wonderful. So those are all up and running now with the modified code base. If I bring the website back up, you'll see that all of them now have the new web page. So now that I'm happy with that, let's go ahead and change the access control. Right now it only allows my IP address, and I'm going to say go ahead and allow everyone in there. And I click on the update ACL, and that has been successfully updated. So let's turn our attention to that backup again, and let's take that backup and convert it into a gold image because I'm happy with that. I want that as part of my library. So I'm going to convert that into an image, and I'm going to call that Freedom. Freedom to roam. And I'm going to save that. So that image is now being created. If I go back and check out the private corner of the repository, I'll see that I have a new image called Freedom, which I can now deploy to wherever I want. So let's define a new deployment zone and deploy this guy. So if I click on the zones up here, it'll give me a list of my zones that I have defined. We were using the default zone before, which has valid deployment targets of Red Hat Las Vegas, AWS West, and Azure Central, which is why that's where the initial Tomcat was deployed. Let's go ahead and create one where it's Europe only. So I'm going to add AWS Europe, and I'm going to call this one Europe. So I only want applications when I deploy to the Europe zone to be deployed in Europe. So let's go back and deploy. We'll go to the private corner and we'll choose Freedom. From here I'm going to choose my Europe deployment zone, and I say I want 3 instances of that. So let me click on deploy, and that will go ahead and spin up. If we click on here, you'll see that all 3 of those are running in Europe because that's what the constraint was, and those are all been running now for about 8 seconds. If I bring up the web page here, it'll give me the newly modified web page. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any more questions, please visit us at redhat.io.